Hi, these are the science fiction bits I picked up over the same weekend. So I'm going to start with this one, which I didn't know anything about Norman Spinrad until I picked it up, and then I googled him, and then became really interested in what this book might be about. He's kind of sorry for the adult content. I'll censor that. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, this is kind of a novel where he's going against sort of the norm, where a lot of novels, I guess people might call them, I don't know, left of centre or liberal or utopian or whatever. And I have no political interest either way. But this is kind of, I guess, with Heinlein. He's one of the guys who was writing from slightly the other side of the line. I guess it's good to have things from different side of the line. I know these days everything's a bit polarised, but you know, it's still interesting to read, and it's just a really great cover. He's some sort of talk show host, like the David Frost of his time. I love the cover, and yeah, I'll definitely be giving that a read, and I might do a proper review on that one because it seems like a bit of a unusual book. Like I say, I'm not really interested in any type of politics, but this one looks pretty good. Okay, next up is another book that's got some pretty interesting background. It's a bit of a, if you've ever seen the terrible film Meteor with Sean Connery, it's a terrible film that I like, but it's a terrible film. This one's about a big meteor coming to hit London, which I'm sure will cause devastation beyond London. But anyway, the interesting thing about this, it's written by Anthony Coburn, who wrote the very first ever episode of Doctor Who, An Unearthly Child, and who people argue, but he's probably the guy who actually created the TARDIS as we know it. So very interesting to see something else he wrote, because I think he fell out with the Doctor Who folk and never really had any other work with them after An Unearthly Child, the very first episode. But yeah, so I bought the book not knowing that. I bought it based on this little cover and reading the back. And it's always great when you get home, you Google it, and you find the book's got a bit of an interesting background. So I don't know if I'll read it or not. It seems like a bit of a pot boiler, if I'm really being honest, but I may do. I don't know. Okay, the next one up is The Day It Rained Forever by Ray Bradbury. This is a Penguin one where I think they use existing art. Does it say on it? No, maybe it does. Nope. But that looks to me like that's a painting that they put on the cover. There isn't the old edition. It's pre-decimalisation here in the UK. You know, it's in old money. I have no idea what that means because that's long before my time. There's a few stories in there that I like. I've got another copy of this, a more modern copy. As with Ray Bradbury, I mean, he's quite a Marmite author. I mean, one story I read and I think that's brilliant. The next one I read and I think it's the most tedious thing I've ever read. So yeah, his collections are always like that. And my friends, you know, who read, think they're sort of same. So anyway, but it's a nice one for the shelf. It's a shame someone's scribbled their maths homework or something on it. So it looks like they're marking off the days. Maybe they're in prison. Who knows? But okay, that's The Day It Rained Forever. And next up, sorry, just moving. This one's got a great cover. The Best of Robert Bloch. Guy who wrote Psycho. Says classic science fiction. I haven't read any of the stories in it yet. It's a short story collection. Yeah, I didn't know he wrote sci-fi, so we'll see. I suspect these are sort of sci-fi tinged horror, or maybe just sort of Twilight Zone stories. But I'm very interested to find out. And again, I just love that cover. That's brilliant, with a steam drone with a laser coming out of it or something. I don't think that's a laser. I don't know, who knows. But yeah, those are some of the things inside. So it seems more science fiction-y than, sorry, more Twilight Zone-y than pure out science fiction, but I will give that a read. What should I do next? Frank Herbert, The Priests of Psi. This is a really nice these Golan's SF series in hardbacks that they came out sort of from the 60s to about the 80s, I think, here in the UK. They don't have any art, so I can't say it's a great cover in terms of art, but they are nice, and this one's in really good condition. And it's a short story collection, but I think what's unusual is it's only 5 stories, and each one is kind of a pretty similar sort of length. I think I've read a couple of those in other collections maybe, so I might read just the other ones that I've not read. But yeah, I'm just pleased to get that in such good condition. So always love a Golance. And last up, this is a real odd one. The guy who sold it to me told me all about it, so this was quite good. I like it when you go into an old bookshop and the guy knows a bit about it. This is by Mick Farren. It's called The Feelies. The basic story, I think, is a bit Matrixy, about people asleep and being used and blah blah blah. But apparently Mick Farren was a rock star. I don't know him personally. He was kind of, I think, early punk, proto-punk, whatever you want to call it. And he did some other books as well that were in a series about if it was space traveling or time traveling sword fighter, I don't know. So this is kind of a one-off, but I love the cover. So it's got the fairly standard semi-nude lady, person being experimented on, and Grim Reaper. So I think that's the Grim Reaper, yeah. Yeah, and basically rich people pay to live in their fantasy world, and they're called Feelies. So I'm definitely going to read this because it sounds pretty fascinating. Oh, I didn't realise it was a first edition as well, so that's always nice. Yeah, and again, you know, I'll try and find out a bit more about this author, Mick Farren, rock star science fiction author. The guy's living the dream. Okay, that's everything I picked up in science fiction this week, so I'll leave that there. All right, cheers.